हरि जय गोपीजन वल्लभा जय गिरिवर धारी जय गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी जय यमुना तिरवनचारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा नील माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव माई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंचतत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय टागोर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mataji's. So today we'll be discussing from 4th canto, 7th chapter. verse number 51. Just share the screen. Yeah, 4751. Atmamayam samavishya soham gunamayim dvija srijan rakshan haran vishwam tadre samyam kriyochitam atmamayam samavishya soham gunamayim dvija सृजन रक्षन हरन विश्वम दद्रे संज्ञाम क्रियोचिताम आत्ममायां समाविश्य सोऽहं गुणमयीं द्विज सृजन रक्षन हरन विश्वम दद्रे संज्ञाम क्रियोचिताम. One Prabhu and one Mataji can recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Manisha Mataji. Yes, Swati Maji, go ahead.
आत्ममायं समाविश्य सोऽहं गुणमयीं द्विज श्रीजं रक्षन् हरन् विश्वं दद्रे संज्ञं क्रियोचितम्. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Manisha Mataji, you want to recite? Please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandvat pranam. Atma mayam samavishya soham gunamayim dvija srijan rakshan haran vishwam dadre sangyam kriyochitam. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, may I?
Yes, Baba. Yes, Baba.
Atmamayam samavishya soham gunamayim dvijam srujan rakshan haran vishwam dadre samyam kriyochitam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So we go to synonyms. Atma Maya, my energy. Samavishya, having entered. Saha, myself. Aham, I. Gunamayim, composed of the modes of material nature. Dvija, oh, twice born Daksha. Srijan, creating. Rakshan, maintaining. Haran, annihilating. Vishwam, the cosmic manifestation. Dadre, I caused to be born. Samgya, a name. Kriya Uchitam, according to the activity. Translation and purport by His Divine Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. The Lord continued, my dear Daksha Dvija, I am the original personality of Godhead. But in order to create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation, I act through my material energy. And according to the different grades of activity, my representations are differently named. Purport. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.5, Jiva Bhutam Mahabhavo. The whole world is energy released from the Supreme Source, the personality of Godhead, who, it is further stated in Bhagavad Gita, acts in superior energies and inferior energies. The superior energy is a living entity who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. As parts and parcels, the living entities are not different from the Supreme Lord. The energy emanated from him is not different from him. But in the actual activity of this material world, the living entity is under the different qualities of material energy and in different forms. So there are 8,400,000 life forms. The same living entity acts under the influence of the different qualities of material nature. The entities have different bodies. But originally, in the beginning of creation, Lord Vishnu is alone. For the purpose of creation, Brahma is manifested, and for annihilation, there is Lord Shiva. As far as the spiritual entrance into the material world is concerned, all beings are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. But under the covering of different material qualities, they have different names. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are qualitative incarnations of Vishnu as Guna avatars, and Vishnu with them accepts control of the quality of goodness. Therefore, he is also a qualitative incarnation like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Actually, the different names exist for different directions. Otherwise, the origin is one only. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथामितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखातांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् मुखं करोति वाचां पङ्गं लङ्घयति तत्कृपातमहं भगवान् नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविष्णुपदे श्रीमते महाविष्णुपदाय नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविष्णुपदे भगवती रामस्वामी निर्विशेषणीय पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत आश्रम हरे कृष्ण. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu Mataji, welcome all of you for this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam session. So we'll be discussing fourth canto, 7th chapter, verse number 51. And thank you for keeping the appointment with Krishna. That's more important, best important appointment we can ever have. So in this chapter, the sacrifice performed by Daksha, right? We already seen that verse number from 26 up to 47, prayers made by different entities, right? So now after those prayers, now Lord Vishnu is replying. He started replying from the verse number 50. So today we'll be discussing verse number 51. See, in the purport of this verse we saw, Prabhupada writes, as explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.5, Jiva Bhuta Mahabahu. That is, the whole world is energy released from the Supreme Source, the personality of Godhead, who, as it is further said in Bhagavad Gita, who acts in superior energies and inferior energies. So superior energy is the living entity, who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. See, the Lord, he has multifarious energies. And therefore, the Lord and his energies are identical. And the point to understand is among his various energies, material energy is one of them. And it is said in Bhagavad Gita that the material energy is inferior in quality to the spiritual energy. So the spiritual energy is superior because without contact with the spiritual energy, the material energy alone cannot produce anything. Very important point to understand. Without the spiritual energy, nothing can be done. So, but the source of all energies is the all active, attractive personality of God, Shri Krishna. So this material world is a combination of matter and spirit. But the spiritual world, which is far, far away from the material sky, is purely spiritual and it has no contact with matter. In the spiritual world, everything is spirit. So the personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source, original source of all energies, right? He is able to convert spirit into matter and all matter into spirit. For him, there is no difference between matter and spirit. That is, therefore, he is called Kaivalya. See, in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes, he reciprocates with spirit, not matter. So when he is in the mortal world, reptile world, right? The material qualities cannot work upon him. See, an electrician, he knows how to take work from electricity. Correct? See, with the help of electricity, he can turn water into cold or heat. You can see refrigerator, air conditioner, right? So similarly, the personality of Godhead, he can turn matter into spirit and spirit to matter. How? By his inconceivable power. See, everything is therefore matter and spirit by the grace of the Almighty Krishna. Although there is a difference between matter and spirit for the ordinary living being. For us, there is a difference, but for them, no. So there are different stages, of this spiritual development in matter. See, in the material world, the spiritual sparks of the personality of Godhead are covered by the material energy in different proportions and realized in various species of life. So the human form of life, it represents the complete development of the senses for spiritual realization of our original affection for the Lord. That's why this human form is there. Otherwise, the animals and trees, and they cannot. So therefore, if despite this opportunity for human life, we are unable to revive our natural affection for Krishna, we must know that we are wasting our life for nothing. See, in the Krishna book, Prabhupada writes, he says that the view of the Mayavadi philosophers is stated in Bhagavad Gita to be the view of the Asuras or demons. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 16.8. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahur anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kama haitukam. Asura's view of this cosmic matter is that the whole creation is false. The Asuras know, they think that the mere interaction of matter is the source of the creation. And there is no controller or God. But actually, this is not the fact. See, from the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the 5 gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, and sky, ether, plus the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, false ego, they are the 8 separated energies of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And beyond this, inferior material energy is a spiritual energy known as the living entities. The living entities are accepted as the superior energy of the Lord. So the whole cosmic manifestation is a combination of the inferior and superior energies. And the source of the energies is the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. So the Supreme Personality of God has many different types of energies. And this is confirmed in the Vedas. Parasa Shaktir Vividhaiv Shuyate. So the transcendental energies of the Lord are variegated. And because such varieties of energies have emanated from the Supreme Lord, they cannot be false. The Lord is ever existing. And the energies are also ever existing. So some of the energy is temporary. Sometimes manifested, sometimes unmanifested. But this does not mean that it is false, as per the Mayavadis. Prabhupada gave a very good example. He said the example may be given that when a person is angry, he does things which are different from his normal condition of life. Everybody knows about this, right? When you're angry, you're not the same person, you're something different. He's different from his normal condition of life when he's angry. But the fact that the mood of anger appears and disappears. Right? When you're angry, it's totally different. Afterwards, when it stops, appears and disappears. So the fact is that the mood of anger appears and disappears does not mean that the energy of anger is false. That anger energy is still there. And next time again it will come and then it will go down. So therefore, the argument of the Maya of the philosophers that this world is false is not accepted by Vaishnava philosophers. The Lord himself confirms that the view that there is no supreme cause of this material manifestation, that there is no God, that everything is only the creation of the interaction of matter, is a view of the Asuras. See, although Prakriti and Purusha superficially appear to be the cause of the material manifestation, both the emanations of different energies of the Lord, right? But they are both different energies of the Lord. So Supreme Lord is the cause of Prakriti and Purusha. He is the original cause, Sarva Karana Karanam. That's why the purport of 6, 9, 26 and 27, says, the Naradiya Purana says, both the Prakriti and Purusha, which are inferior and superior energies, are emanations from the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, it says, Gama Vishya, the Lord enters the Prakriti. And then the Prakriti creates different manifestations. See, the Prakriti is not independent or beyond his energies. previous the nature, right? So the Vasudeva, Lord Shri Krishna, is the original cause of everything. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also, see the 10.8 is one of the seed verses in Bhagavad Gita. And another Bhagavatam seed verse, the first one, 2.9.33, Krishna says, Aham sarva eva aham evasam evagre. Only I existed before the creation. So this is confirmed in the Brahmana Purana also. So to generate the universe, the Lord acts indirectly as the Purusha and directly as the Prakriti. Because both energies emanate from the Lord Vasudeva, the all-pervasive Supreme Personality Body. So he is known as both Prakriti and Purusha. Therefore, Vasudeva is the cause of everything. Sarva Karana Karanam. See, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 7.118, purport. There's a verse. Aparayam vitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me para jiva bhutam mahabhavo yeyedam dharyate jagat. When I read this verse, I thought this is the in Bhagavad Gita also. And when I searched, the same verse is there in 7.5 Bhagavad Gita also. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is explained the five elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, constitute the gross energy of the absolute truth. And that there are also three subtle energies, namely mind, intelligence, and false ego, or identification with the phenomenal world, right? Thus, the entire cosmic manifestation is divided into 8 energies, all of which are inferior. So, as it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, Mama Maya Duratyaya, the inferior energy, known as Maya, is so strong that although the living entity does not belong to this energy, due to the superior strength of the inferior energy, the living entity forgets his real position and then identifies with it. So Krishna says, he very much says that beyond the material energy, there is a superior energy, which is known as the Jiva Bhuta or living entities. That is the soul, right? He's talking about the living. So when in the contact with the material energy, this superior energy conducts all the activities of the entire material world. So the supreme cause is Krishna. Janmadhyasya yataha. First verse of Bhagavatam. 111. Janmadhyasya yataha. Who is the origin of all energies? And which works variously. See, the supreme person of Godhead, no? He has both inferior and superior energies. And the difference between them is that the superior energy is factual, whereas the inferior energy is a reflection of the superior energy. How to understand this? The reflection of the sun in a mirror or on water appears to be the sun, but it is not the real sun, right? Similarly, the material world is just a reflection of the spiritual world. Although it appears to be factual, it is not. It is only a temporary reflection. Whereas the spiritual world is a factual reality. So the material world with its gross and subtle forms is merely a reflection of the spiritual world. So the living entity is not a product of the material energy. He is spiritual energy. But in contact with matter, he forgets his real identity. So the living entity identifies himself with matter and then enthusiastically engages in mental activities like scientist, philosopher, prime minister, so many different ways, right? He does not know that he is not at all a mental product, but he is spiritual. That is, we identify with our soul body, not with the soul. So his real identity is thus being lost. Now what happens? He struggles very hard in the mental world. And Prabhupada says the Hare Krishna movement or the Krishna conscious movement is trying to revive his original consciousness. Otherwise, day in and day out, we are running here and there for earning money and maintaining family. So many things we are doing, excepting keeping Krishna in the center or thinking of Krishna also. So this Hare Krishna movement, Prabhupada says, is trying to revive his original consciousness because we have forgotten. So his activities in manufacturing like big skyscrapers are evidence of his intelligence. Of course, there is some intelligence has to be done. It is there. But this kind of intelligence is not at all advanced. He should know that his only real concern is how to get free from the material contact. But by absorbing his mind in material activities, no, he takes material bodies again and again. And although he falsely claims to be very intelligent, in material consciousness, he's not at all intelligent. These are very powerful words from Prabhupada. So when we speak about Krishna consciousness movement, which is meant to make people intelligent, the conditioned living entity therefore misunderstands it. You can see nobody is ready, right? But this is the greatest intelligence, coming to Krishna mind, accepting Krishna consciousness. He's so engrossed in the material concept of life that he does not think that there can be any activities that are actually based on intelligence beyond the construction of skyscrapers or big roads and manufacturing of cars and all. Something beyond he doesn't understand, does not think about it. So this is the proof of loss of all intelligence due to the influence of Maya. Prabhupada makes a statement, Mayaya Bharata Jnana. Mayaya Bharata Jnana, that is loss of all intelligence due to influence of Maya. So when a living entity is freed from such misconceptions, he is called liberated. So when one is actually liberated, he no longer identifies with the middle world. So the symptom mukti, liberation, is that one engages in spiritual activities instead of falsely engaging in material activities. So we always heard this statement, right? Transcendental loving service, transcendental loving devotional service is a spiritual activity of the spirit soul. Whereas Maya, the philosophers, they confuse such spiritual activity with mental activity. But Bhagavad Gita 14.26, it confirms. Mam cha yo abhyabhicharena bhakti yogena siddhate sagunan samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in the spiritual activities of unalloyed devotional service, abhyabhicharena bhakti, is immediately elevated to the transcendental platform. And he is to be considered Brahma Bhuta, which indicates that he is no longer in the middle world, but is in the spiritual world. If you're not in touch with Krishna for this transcendental loving service, if you're in touch, you'll be considered as Brahma Bhuta. Otherwise, you'll be Pati Bhuta, Patni Bhuta, Mani Bhuta, Bang, all these Bhuta will be there. Ultimately, there will be nothing, only Bhuta. So, devotional service is enlightenment or awakening. So, when the living entity perfectly performs spiritual activities under the direction of the spiritual master, he becomes perfect in knowing and understanding that he is not God, but a servant of God. It is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nitya Das. The real identity of the living entity is that he is an eternal servant of the Supreme. Chaitanya Kartamata Madhya Lila 20.108. So as long as one does not come to this conclusion, he must be in ignorance. And this is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. So Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many births of struggling for existence and cultivating knowledge, when one comes to the point of real knowledge, he surrenders unto me. Such an advanced Mahatma or great soul is very rarely to be seen. So although the Mayavadi philosophers appear to be very much advanced in knowledge, they are not yet perfect. So to come to the point of perfection, they must voluntarily surrender to Krishna. See, in Ishopanishad it is given 14th from the Vishnu Purana 6761. It says, Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetra Yankhya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Samyanya Tritiya Shaktir Ishyate. That is, Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, possesses different energies known as Para, that is superior, and Apara, inferior. Para is superior, Apara is inferior. So the living entities belong to the superior energy. The material energy in which we are presently entangled is the inferior energy. So the material creation is made possible by this energy, which covers the living entities with ignorance, avidya, and it induces them to perform fruitive activities. Yet there is another part of the Lord's superior energy that is different from both this material inferior energy and the living entities. That superior energy constitutes the eternal, deathless abode of the Supreme Lord Krishna. See, in the purport of 4751, Prabhupada mentions as parts and parcels, the living entities are not different from the Supreme Lord. The energy emanated from him is not different from him. See, although the Lord is infinitely greater than any other living being, or all of them combined, every living being is qualitatively non-different from the Lord. Because all living beings are part and parcel of emanating from Him. Mame vamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana. Therefore, in one sense, the living entity is also not different from the material cosmic manifestation, which is an inferior sister energy of the Lord. So both the living entity and the material nature are prakriti or feminine, dependent expansions of the supreme Purusha. So the difference is that the living entity is the superior energy of the Lord because the living entity is conscious and eternal like the Lord. Whereas material energy is the inferior energy of the Lord, lacking consciousness and eternal form. Prabhupada, I think this is the purport of 11.2.22. See, in 4.1.15 purport, Prabhupada says the manifestations of Vishnu and those of the ordinary living entities are certainly all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. No one is equal to him. But among the parts and parcels, there are different categories. In the Varaha Purana, it is very nicely explained that some of the parts are Swamsha and some are Vibhinnamsha. Now, Vibhinnamsha parts are called Jivas and Swamsha parts are in the Vishnu category. See, in the Jiva category, the Vibhinnamsha parts and parcels, there are also gradations. And this is explained in Vishnu Puran, where it is clearly stated that the individual parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord are subject to being covered by the external energy called illusion or Maya. And such individual parts and parcels who can travel to any part of the Lord's creation are called Sarvagata and are suffering the pangs of material existence. Because we are actually spiritual, but because of the covering, because of being in contact with matter, we cannot do what actually we can do. So they are proportionally freed from the coverings of ignorance under material existence according to different levels of work and under different influences of the modes of material nature. So more and more you chant, that coverings will be removed. And then you will come to the real eternal position, real constitutional position, right? For example, the sufferings of jivas situated in the mode of goodness, there are jivas in it. So suppose the jivas are in mode of goodness, but they do have some sufferings, but they are less than those of jivas situated in mode of ignorance. So pure Krishna consciousness is a birthright of all living entities because every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So the consciousness of the Lord is also part and parcel in the part and parcel of the. And according to the proportion to which that consciousness is cleared of the material dirt, living entities are differently situated. So some are in mode of goodness, some are in passion, some are. So accordingly, see, in the Vedanta Sutra, the living entities of different gradations are compared to candles or lamps with different candle power. So Prabhupada gives an example very beautifully how we can understand this. For example, some electric bulb, they have the power of 1000 candles. Some have the power of 500 candles. Some bulbs have the power of 100 candles. Some bulbs have the power of 50 candles, etc., etc. But all the electric bulbs have light. Light is present in every bulb, but the gradations of light are different. Similarly, there are gradations of Brahman. The Vishnu Swamsha expansions of the Supreme Lord in different Vishnu forms are like lamps. Lord Shiva is also like a lamp, the supreme candle power. And the supreme candle power of the 100% light is Krishna. The Vishnu Tattva has 94%. Shiva Tattva has 84%. And Lord Brahma has 78%. And the living entities also are like almost Brahma, but in the conditioned state, their power is still more dim. So these are gradations of Brahman. So no one can deny this fact, right? See, before the creation or manifestation of this cosmic material world, the Lord exists as total energy. And thus desiring himself to be made into many. He expands himself further into multi-total energy, for this from the this multi-total energy, he further expands him into individuals in 3 dimensions, namely Adhyatmic, Adidevic, and Adibhautik. So the whole creation and the creative energies are non-different and different simultaneously. See, everything is an emanation from Krishna, Mahavishnu. So nothing of the cosmic energies is different from it. But all such expanded energies have specific functions and display as designed by the Lord. And therefore, they are simultaneously different from the Lord. So living energy is also similar energy, marginal potency. We are all living energy. So we have marginal potency. That means can either go to superior energy or the lower, inferior one. And there are some. So the living energies remain potent in the Lord, right? And when they are let loose in the cosmic manifestation, they are exhibited differently in terms of different desires and the modes of nature. That's why varieties are there. Different people have different mentalities. Everybody with the same mentality, everything is very nice, uniform. So it is way you can please one person in this way, you can please the other person not in the same way, different. So such differential manifestations of living energies are conditional states of the living energies. The liberated living entities, right, that is Sanatana, eternal manifestation, are unconditional surrendered souls. And therefore, they are not subject to the conditions of creation and annihilation. So this creation takes place through. Sorry. So this creation, no, it takes place by the glance of the Lord from his bedstead of mystic slumber, right? So all the universes are, and the Lord of the universe, right? All the universes and the Lord of the universe, Brahma, again and again manifest and annihilate. See, for want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, we are all now covered by the illusion. Therefore, we think that we are separate from Krishna. Although we are separate parts of Krishna, we are nevertheless not different from him. See, the bodily difference of living it is Maya, not the actual fact. We are all meant to satisfy Krishna. We are all meant for satisfying Krishna. See, by Maya alone, no, Arjuna thought that the temporary bodily relationship with his kinsman was more important than his eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna. So the whole teaching of Bhagavad Gita is targeted towards this end. That a living being, as Krishna's eternal servitor, cannot be separated from Krishna. And his sense of being an identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. So the living entities know, as separate parts and parts of the Supreme, they have purpose to fulfill. And having forgotten that purpose, no, not in this Janma, since time immemorial, they are situated in different bodies as men, animals, etc., etc. So such bodily differences arise from forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. Eternal servants we are, but we forgot. But when one is engaged in the transcendental service through Krishna consciousness, one becomes at once liberated from this illusion. One can acquire such pure knowledge only from the bona fide spiritual master. And thereby you can avoid the delusion that the living entity is equal to Krishna. We are in delusion, we are equal to Krishna. Only by the guidance of spiritual master we can get rid of it. The perfect knowledge is that the Supreme Soul, Krishna, is a shelter for all living entities. And giving up such shelter, living entities are deluded by this mental energy, imagining themselves to have a separate identity. So under different standards of mental identity, they become forgetful of Krishna. We become forgetful, right? So such delusion becomes, unless we are out of this delusion, no, it's difficult. So we have to approach the spiritual master, Guru, then follow the instructions as it is. So liberation means to be situated in one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Krishna consciousness. See the 4751 which we are discussing in the purport, Prabhupada says, in the actual activity of this material world, the living entity is under the different qualities of mental energy and in different forms. So there are 8,400,000 life forms. The same living entity acts under the influence of the different qualities of material nature. So these are manifestation of living entities. Okay. There are different types. Udbija. Udbija means just like trees. They are coming out of the seed. Coming out of the seed is, that is Udbija. So if the seed is sown on the ground, under favorable condition, it comes out. And this is also life. Some of the living entities are coming out of eggs. Andaja. Andaja. Anda means egg, right? That you know. So the birds, they first of all lay down eggs. And then by fermentation, the life comes out. So some of the living entities are coming out from perspiration. See, so many bugs, right? If you keep your beds very unclean, by your perspiration, the bugs are grown. It is called Svedaja, coming out of perspiration. So Svedaja, Andaja, Udbija, and Jarayoja. That is from embryo, just like we all come out with. So these are the way manifestation of living entities. Udbija, Andaja, Svedaja, and Jarayoja. I think in one of the lectures, Prabhupada said, lecture on 121, Bhagavatam. See, we think that I'm doing this class now. It is my body. See, suppose I am eating. It is going to the stomach, right? So many things happen in the stomach. It is going to the heart. Blood is transforming blood. It is transforming to blood. It is going diffusion all over the body. Very nice process is going on, but we do not know how it's happening. Although I claim that it is my body, but I don't know what is happening internally. So my knowledge is imperfect, although I claim my body. But Krishna's knowledge is not like that. Janmadhyasya anvayaditarascha arteshu abhigya. He knows everything. That is the distinction between God and ourselves. See, I do not know even what is going on within my body. How my hairs are growing. Right? See, directly I can see my finger. But I do not know what is the composition of this finger. Indirectly, I do not know. See, directly I can see. So we may have some experience of direct perception, but God, Krishna, has got both direct and indirect perceptions. So we do not know how a flower is coming out, but God knows how the flower is coming out. So in this way, Prabhupada says, if we study Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand what is the nature of God. Not that we manufacture the reason, philosophy. So everything is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada very seriously is telling, we should simply scrutinizingly study what sort of body God has. This is all, everything is in simple language. Satchidananda Vigraha, Ananda Vigraha. That is Krishna's body. Sat, Chit, and Anand. How blissful Krishna is, right? Playing on his flute, it is eternal chords of Radhani. So this is very blissful. These all things very nicely given in Bhagavatam. We should study it. See, in Bhagavatam 5:18-32, it's a very nice verse. Huh? I'll just read the translation. 5:18-32 Bhagavatam. My dear Lord, you manifest your different energies in countless forms. Oh, what are they? As living entities born from wombs, from eggs and from perspiration, as plants and trees that grow out of the earth, as all living entities, both moving and standing, including the demigods, the learned sages, and the pitas, as outer space, as a higher planetary system containing the heavenly planets, and as the planet Earth with its hills, rivers, seas, oceans, and islands. Indeed, all the stars and planets are simply manifestations of your different energies. But originally, you are one without a second. Therefore, there is nothing beyond you. So this entire cosmic manifestation is therefore not false, but is simply a temporary manifestation of your inconceivable energy. So Krishna is unlimited. So his different energies are also manifested by him in his unlimited forms. So this 5:18-32 verse, it gives us 20 different forms of his energies, by seeing which we can remember Krishna. Just read out what are the 20. Number 1, living entities born from womb. Living entities born from eggs. Living entities born from perspiration. Plants, trees, living entities that are moving, living entities that are standing, demigods, learned sages, pitas, that is forefathers, outer space, the higher planetary system containing the heavenly planets, Earth, hills, rivers, seas, oceans, islands, stars, planets. If we always meditate on these 20 forms of the Lord, we will see Krishna everywhere and always. Since all living entities are his part and parcels, right? And Krishna is present in every one of them. So we cannot criticize anyone or anything because it's all Krishna there. Therefore, we should never criticize anyone. Not even in the mind. Because then we go against the scriptures. Better we keep quiet. So if you at all want to speak, speak about Krishna. Or if you want to speak about someone, then speak at least something positive about that person also. Don't gossip. So this we should always practice. If you practice this, then you will be worshipped. In this regard, my Guru Maharaj used to say in a very lighter note. That's why they worship Krishna on the altar, because he doesn't speak. So this is the point to understand. So this habit to see Krishna everywhere through these 20 things should be there. Otherwise, we fail to recognize his presence in other living entities and keep finding faults in everyone. We should mind our own spiritual advancement in order to have a pure mind. So how to purify our mind? Bhagavatam 1:115 gives us the answer. Yatpada samshraya suta mune prashamayanaha sadhya punanti upasprishtah swardunyapo anusevaya. O Suta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. If you hear Krishna Katha, your mind is immediately purified. Sadhya punanti upasprishtah. Whereas water from the Ganges only purify after prolonged use. See, the root cause of all our problems is our own mind. And it is the greatest obstacle in our spiritual advancement. No one else is to be blamed. My Guru Maharaj says, our mind is like a parachute. Our mind is like a parachute. And it works when it opens. So keep an open mind and accept the incapabilities and surrender to Krishna. So when we take shelter of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra with an open mind, the mind gets purified. So by the causeless mercy of Prabhupada, we are in touch with the Shastras like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, right? So the only way to show our gratitude to him is sincerely study the Shastras, apply them in our lives, and share the nectar with others as well, to the best of our ability. Very important. Now, another wonderful month, Damodar month is coming. We can do that. We can do ourselves as well as share it with others. See, in this purport of 4751, which we are discussing, Prabhupada says the entities have different bodies. But originally, in the beginning of creation, Lord Vishnu is alone. For the purpose of creation, Brahma is manifested. And for annihilation, there is Lord Shiva. As far as the spiritual entrance into the material world is concerned, all beings are part and parcel of Supreme Lord, but under the covering of different material qualities, they have different names. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are qualitative incarnations of Vishnu as Gunavataras, and Vishnu with them accepts control of the quality of goodness. Therefore, he is also a qualitative incarnation like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Actually, the different names exist for different directions. Otherwise, the origin is one only. See, the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the supreme person. The Brahma Samhita describes this supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. See, all the variegatedness manifest there is the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material in the spiritual world. So that variegatedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of Supreme God Himself. For manifesting this, for the manifestation, right? There is but they are a spiritual energy, as we have seen in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. See, as far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So by His spiritual and material energies, He is present everywhere, both in the material and the spiritual universes. So Yasyanta Sthani means that everything is situated within Him. Vision either is spiritual or material energy. So the Lord is always pervading by these two energies. In 8.22 purport, Bhagavad Gita, he says, in the purport of 4th canto, 30th chapter, 24th verse, Prabhupada says, the Lord accepts three kinds of bodies: Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, for the purpose of creating, maintaining, and annihilating. So Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, right? The cosmic manifestation. So the three deities of material universe, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, are called Gunavataras. We just saw in the purport which Prabhupada said. So out of these three, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva accept material bodies. But Lord Vishnu does not accept a material body. Lord Vishnu is therefore known as Vishuddha Sattva. His existence is completely free from the contamination of the material modes of nature. So one should therefore not think that Lord Vishnu is in the same category with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Shastras forbid us to think in this way. It says one who considers Lord Vishnu to be in the category with devas like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, or who thinks Lord Brahma and Shiva to be equal to Lord Vishnu, is to be considered as Pashandi, means a faithless non-believer. So in this verse, Lord Vishnu is distinguished in the words Namo Vishuddha Sattvaya. Although a living entity like us, Lord Brahma is exalted due to his pious activities. Therefore, he is given the high post of Brahma. So Lord Shiva is not actually like a living entity, but he's not the supreme personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva's position is somewhere between Vishnu and the supreme Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead, and Brahma, the living entity. So Lord Shiva is therefore explained in Brahma Samhita 5.45. Kshiram yatadadi vikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tata pratagasti hetoho yashambhutamapi tata samupaiti karyad govindamadi purusham tamam vajami. So Lord Shiva is considered to be like yogurt. Gadi, that is what yogurt. Yogurt is nothing but transformed milk. Nonetheless, yogurt cannot be accepted as milk. Similarly, Lord Shiva holds almost all the powers of Lord Vishnu and is also above the qualities of the living entity, but it's not exactly like Vishnu. Just a yogurt, although transformed milk, is not exactly like milk. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 16, we find the description of how Aditi felt very helpless and was filled with lamentation, illusion, and fear when her sons are taken away by the demons and are deprived of the fame, opulence, and residence. So when Kashyapa Muni meets her, she requests her husband Kashyapa Muni to restore the wealth and opulence of her children, which were taken away by the demons. Now Kashyapa Muni was surprised to see how, even while staying in the heavenly planets, she was affected by lamentation, illusion, and fear. That's why in this verse 8:16-19, he says, what is this material body made of 5 elements? It is different from the spirit soul. The spirit soul is completely different from the material elements from which the body is made. But because of bodily attachment, one is regarded as a husband or a son. So these illusory relationships are caused by misunderstanding. See how irrespective of where we are situated, be it heaven or earth, we would be affected by this mental disease. Lamentation, illusion, fear. LIF. L-I-F. Lamentation, illusion, fear. So why are we affected by this disease? This is because we don't know the power of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Nor do we have faith in him. The reason why we are ignorant about Krishna and his potency is because we have not heard about him. And this lack of spiritual education is cause of all of our troubles. So what we are supposed to hear, we don't hear about them. Right? No. What we are supposed to hear, we don't hear. But what we are not supposed to hear, we keep filling our ears and minds with those disturbing elements and thereby aggravate our material disease, LIF, lamentation, illusion, and fear. So when we suffer from diseases, the body loses strength and we feel very weak. So what do the doctors prescribe? Doctor prescribes vitamin tablets to boost our energy, correct? Similarly, the medicine for this material disease, LIF, is vitamin KK. Vitamin KK, Krishna Katha. Bhagavatam 177 Bhagavatam verse says, Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsah shokamoha bhayapa. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So, how to nourish our bhakti plant? See, the growth of seedling with that of devotional plant, right? See, on its own, the plants don't have the strength to merge out of the soil. So, when a seed tries to sprout out, no, it requires energy to come out of the earth. So, where does that small seed get the energy for this? It gets from the water. Similarly, for our plant of bhakti to sprout out, no, we need to water it using vitamin KK. So, once the plant sprouts out, there is still danger of it being harmed, no, by external elements like animals and all, right? So, a small fence is built around it for protection. Similarly, the plant of bhakti in our hearts is also exposed to the material disease continuously in the form of adhyatmic, adibhautik, and adidvipasaris. So, to protect it, we need to have the fence of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, as listed by Shilavasti. We always recite in the beginning of the Kapha, right? So, we need that protection. So, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So, that's why Prabhupada has insisted upon daily Bhagavatam classes. Material disease will never vanish. It will be present always. But by doing Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, our devotional plant will grow strong enough so that after some time it will no longer be affected by Lif's presence. What is Lif? Lamentation, illusion, fear. And it would in fact give the shade and protection to other living entities who take shelter of them. So let us all remember this truth. We should remember this truth always, Nityam. And sincerely endeavor to take the vitamin KK regularly to save ourselves from Lif, lamentation, illusion, and fear. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to glorify the Lord and purify myself. Hare Krishna, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Govinda Mancha Kalpataru Vishkripa Sandubhaye Vacha, Patidaram Pavane Vishnu. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or anything to share, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. What's it? So how to get rid of this lift, right? Lift, lamentation, illusion, and fear.
KK Prabhuji.
To bhakti.
Yes, Madhya?
KK.
What is KK?
Krishna Katha.
Jai, Hari Bol. Vitamin KK.
Thank you, thank you. Thank
So
you for
very,
giving us that prescription, Prabhuji.
yes, it's doctor's
Thank you
prescription.
so much.
It's full of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the best medicine. That's why we are every day we are reading Bhagavatam. Every day classes are there. Every day morning Bhagavad Gita class, Bhagavatam class is there. Zoom is there, and Sunday also. So it's continuously it's there. Go on hearing. So at least this 1 hour we are completely absorbed in Krishna Katha. So naturally we don't have any lamentation. We don't lament about, oh, what happens to this, what happened to that, nothing about that. There is no illusion. We don't think about body. In fact, nothing. We don't have this body consciousness at this 1 hour, and there is no fear. Nothing to fear about. So if we continue this 1 hour more and more, then the life will continue automatically go off. So we have to. That's how we have to do that. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, let me stop now. So Hare Krishna, Mataji, for hearing patiently and trying to absorb and put it into daily practice. That's the main purpose, applying. Because 20% of the verses in Bhagavatam is about Lord's glories. Only 80% is for improving our character. Yes, Padmanabha Prabhu, Hare Krishna, sorry.
Oh, nothing, bro. Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Nice to hear
Thank
your
you.
voice. Thank you.
Thanks for nectarian class.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Gurudev Ki Jai, Hare Krishna.
Yes, very nice, Prabhu. For Prabhupada, you mentioned that take the scripture sincerely and then, try to follow in our life. Very wonderful point. Thanks.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai. Okay, thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Hare Krishna. I'll just close. I am the host, so I need to close myself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.